Good morning, everyone. So, shall we begin the session? In the last class, we talked about what are the USB connectors, how they are used, what is the Bluetooth, and what is the usage of the various memory devices, why the memory devices will be used, what is the advantage of using the memory devices. Next part, that is the today's topic is the input devices. What are the various input devices that we are using? That may include the keyboard, mouse. So, what about the device that is used for giving the input to the computer that is known as the input device? So all the personal computer needs the component that allows the user to input the data. Early computers used simply a keyboard to allow the users to enter the data or select an item from the menu to run a program. And with the advent of the graphical user interface, the mouse has become a standard component of the computer because everything that is drag and drop, controlling, single click, double click, everything is done with the mouse. It becomes a standard component of a computer. And these two components are still the primary input devices, that is the keyboard and the mouse. For example, many new devices one of the new devices, the touchscreen is the primary way of entering the data. And besides the keyboard and the mouse, additional are also becoming more common nowadays. That includes the microphone, that includes the biometric system, web cameras, and that are used to record the video or the participate in the video chat sessions. That are the input device. So whatever the device that is used to give the input into the computer, that is known as the input device. So first one is the keyboard. So keyboard is an input device that is used to enter the data into the computer with the help of the keys that is available in the keyboard. And one of the standard keyboard name is the QWERTY keyboard that contains 101 keys, that is 101 keys in the keyboard. The next one is second one is a mouse. Mouse is a pointing device that is used to move the cursor from one place to another, and that is also an input device because we can give the input with the help of the mouse. Then next one, third one is the joystick that is used to playing the game, or that is used for playing the game into the computer system. That is the joystick. Then next, after the joystick, there is a microphone, mic, that is used to record the voice, and that is also used for the video live chats. Like I'm using the microphone for taking the class, so that is the microphone. So I'm giving the input into the computer with the help of the microphone. Then there is a BCR, that is barcode reader, to detect the barcodes that is available on any item. So for example, when we go to the shopping mall to purchase any item, the shopkeeper have to punch on that bars that is available over the items. That bars contains hidden code regarding the quantity, regarding the price, regarding the quality of that item. And automatically that data will be entered into the computer system, and that shopkeeper make the entry for your name with the help of that hidden code, and that will be stored in the computer. That means if you are going to change any item after that, so he or she will be dealing out with the help of the name by searching into the computer. That is a PCR. Then MICR, next one is MICR, that is magnetic ink character recognition, by which that is used to process the bank's demand draft for the checks. For example, there are 6 digits that is available in the checks or the demand draft. That digits are read out by the MICR, that is a magnetic ink character readers. Then next device is the microphone. Microphone we have done. Next is the biometric sensor that is used to detect the thumb, detect the finger, detect the person's identity. That is the biometric sensor, that is the input device. Now, next, let's move to the next part, that is the output devices. Any doubts, anyone in the input devices? Next part is the output device that are also essential as well as the input device are essential, and the most obvious output device is the display, that is a screen. Now, we are sharing the screen with the help of the GoToMeeting. That screen will be shared with the help of the output device, or we can say the screen is the output device, that is display. That is representing the state of the computer. What is the state of the computer we are using? In some cases, a personal computer can support the multiple display, or can be converted into the larger format display, such as the projectors or the large screen television. That is also the output device. Generally, we are using the four output devices. One is the one is the projectors, printers, and next one is the plotters. Yes, plotters are also used for displaying the same exact values, exact figure. For example, you talk about the map of in any country, so that will be built up by the use of the plotters. And besides the display, other output devices that include the speakers for the audio output and the printers for the printing the output that is available. Now let's move to the next question, that is what hardware components contribute to the speed of the memory. So what are the various hardware components that we have discussed? Speed of my computer that is used. Speed of the computer is determined by many elements that someone is related to the hardware and someone is related to the software. When you talk about the hardware, speed is improved by giving the electron shorter distances to traverse to complete a circuit. That means we are giving the shorter circuit, we are giving the speed by using the shorter distances to traverse to the complete a circuit. And since the first CPU was created in the early 1970s, engineers have constantly worked to figure out how to shrink these circuits. That means how to move these circuits or how to focus on these circuits and put more and more circuits on the same chip. That means same chip can be reused again and again. And this work has paid off. The speed of the computing devices has continuously improving ever since. The hardware component that contribute to the speed of a personal computer are the CPU. That is the main component that contribute to the CPU that contributes with the computer. That is known as the CPU, central processing unit. The motherboard, RAM, and the hardware. So these are the four hardware components that is generally used, and one of the main part is the CPU, that is the central processing unit. And in most of the cases, these items can be replaced with newer, faster components because these are the attachable. We can remove, we can insert new one. These can be replaced with a new, faster components. And in case of the RAM, simply adding more RAM can also speed up the computer. So if I'm increasing my capacity, my computer capacity, my more memory to the computer, that will be increase the capacity of the RAM, that increase the speed of the computer. And this is a table that shows how each of the components contribute to the, or how each of the parts contribute to the speed of a computer. This is the component, this is the speed, then unit, description. Component is CPU, then the speed measured by is clock speed, then units is the gigahertz. So one is the CPU, then clock speed, then units is gigahertz. Description is the time it takes to complete a circuit. So whatever the time it takes to complete a circuit, that is a gigahertz. Then motherboard, the speed measured by is bus speed, then units is a megahertz. So how much data can move across the bus simultaneously. Then RAM, that is the data transfer rate, MBs, the time it takes for the data to transfer from memory to the system, that is the RAM. How the data will be transferred. The hard disk, access time, MS, the time it takes before the disk can transfer. Then data transfer rate, that is M bits, that is the megabit, the time it takes for the data to be transferred from the disk to the system. These are the four components that is available over that is used as a hardware component for increasing the speed of the computer. One is the CPU, how it will take or how it will handle. Then motherboard, then RAM, then hard disk. Now, what are the other computing devices that is used in the computers to be designed or that is used in the computer to increase the speed of the computer? So, a personal computer is designed to be the general purpose device. That is, it can be used to solve many different types of problems. There are many problems that is solved by the computer. And as the technology of the personal computer increased, many components have been integrated into the other devices. That means more and more devices are used in the computer. And when there's an invention of the personal computer, we have carried out each and every activity, each and every component that is known as a computing device. Now this is a portable computer, that is portable, that is laptop, that we can move from one place to another place. And when I talk about the old computer, that is a complex PC that was not portable at that time because that weighs around 28 pounds. This computer was portable only in the most literal sense, it can be carried around. And this was no laptop, this computer was designed like a suitcase. This is a modern laptop that is available. Now next one is a smartphone. Yeah, smartphone is the phone that involves that come out like a small computer. So everything is Everything we can learn with the help of the smartphone. This is like a small computer that is used in the that is used by the users for increasing the speed or for doing the task transactions. Then tabs, we can see the tablet computers. This is the one that uses a touch screen expanded on it and is small enough and light enough to be carried out easily. This is a lightweight, small enough, light enough that is used smoothly for the data that is used well for the data that is used well for the phones. And they generally have no keyboard and they are self-contained inside a rectangular case. The first tablet contains a computer created in the 2000s and uses the attached pen as a writing device or input. But nowadays everything is smooth. Now you can touch anything over here. And that tablets range in the personal digital assistant, that is a PDA, that is an handheld computer that is used in the existing computer operating system. Now these early tablet devices were for more fast commercial facilities. Now, rise of the mobile computing. Everything is demanding for the right mobile computing. And that is having a huge impact on the business world today. And the use of the smartphones and the tablet computer is rising at double digits rate per year or each year. The integrating computing. Now, next one is how to use the personal computer, how it is beneficial. Now, this is a problem related to the old computer, that is electronic waste for the public domain. Now the next part is the problems with the e-waste, or we can say that what is the electronic waste. So personal computers have been around for over 35 years and millions of them have been used and discarded, we can say the condemnation. And mobile phones are now available in the remotest part of the world and after a few years of use they are also discarded. Where does this electronic things go? That is, the main is the electronic waste. And often it gets routed to many countries that will accept it, and many times it will end up in the dumps in developing the nations. And these dumps are beginning to be seen as a health hazard for those living near them. And though many manufacturers have made strides in using the material that can be recycled, so we are going to recycle the material that is known as the electronic waste, so we can say the e-recycling. So electronic waste is the problem that we must be the dealing with. Now, next is a summary. So what is a summary? So information system hardware consists of the components of a digital computer that you can touch. In this chapter, we reviewed the configuration of the personal computer is very similar to that of the type of digital computing devices that we have discussed. And with a personal computer that is made up of many components, many devices, many portable things like the CPU, motherboard, RAM, hard disk, removable media, input-output devices. And we also reviewed some variations on the personal computers, such as the tablet computer, smartphone computer, in accordance with the Murero. This technology has improved in the current days. And finally, we discussed two of the consequences of industrial revolution, that is the commercialization of the personal computer and the problem of the electronic waste. Now, what is the answer of this one? The CPU can also be thought of as the dash of the computer system, that is the brain of the computer. Now these are the various we can series, and we are going to arrange the series in ascending order. Ascending order means increasing order. One is the megahertz, kilohertz, and the gigahertz. So first one is the kilohertz, then there is the megahertz, then gigahertz. Now what is a bus? That is a port by which we can transfer the data. Let's start with the first one. Write down your description of what the information system hardware means. So first one is the description of what the information of what the term information system hardware means. So any hardware what we are using in the information system, or whatever the hardware devices we are using in the in the organization for making the information system run, that is known as the information system hardware. That is the term as the information system hardware. Then, what is the impact of Moore's law on the various hardware components? That is how we are going to deal with the hardware components. What are the various hardware components that may include the chip, that may include the memory, whatever the thing that is available in the hardware component that is described in this chapter. Then write a summary of one of the items linked in the integrated computing section. So you can link or you can give the summary of the integrated computing that may include the video conferencing, video calling, whatever the data that you are using. So this is write a summary of one of the items that is linked into the integrated computing section. Now explain why the personal computer is now considered as a commodity. So why everyone is considered the personal computer as a commodity. And the CPU can be thought of as the brain of the computer. Then this one is the same kilohertz, megahertz, and the gigahertz. Now, what is the bus? That is the code by which we can transfer the data, path by which we can transfer the data from one place to another over the network, over any network against the internet. That is the bus. Now, name two differences between the RAM and the ROM. So RAM and the hard disk. So RAM is the internal memory first of all. Hard disk is the external memory. RAM has a limited storage. Hard disk has a huge storage. This is the main difference. And both if you want to talk about the functionality, both are used as a memory of the computer. And the full form RAM as the random access memory. Now, what are the various advantages of solid state drivers over the hard disk? They are used as a solid. We can insert the data. We can feed the data into the solid state drivers increasingly, and that can be used as a solid state, and that means they are very effective than the hard disk. How heavy was the first commercially successful portable computer? This is commerciable with the effect by which we can add the data, by which we can insert the data with the help of the input devices. Now, next one is the exercise that is used. This is one of the examples. We are using the hexadecimal number system that have a base 16 that range from the 0 to the 15, and 0 to 9 is the numbers, and then A to F is represented by the number, and that is represented by the character. That means 10 is represented by the A, 11 is represented by the B, 12 C, 13 D, 14 E, and the 15 F. That means 0 to 9, and then A to F from 10 to 15. Next question is, how would you represent the decimal number 100 in the hexadecimal? This is one of the example. That is how you can change the hexadecimal 100 into the hexadecimal number. This is one of the examples. Then review the timeline of the computers of the old computer websites. Pick up one of the computers, pick up one of the data that is used. Hello, you are able to hear me? Hello. So pick up one of the computer from the listing and write a brief summary and include the specification for the CPU, memory, and the screen size. Now, note that find the specification of the computer. So we are replacing, we are getting the old computer, you are getting the new computer that is replaced by the old computer. So you have to list out what are the various devices, what are the various specifications for the CPU, for the memory, for the screen size, and the specification will include for the sales today, and compare, get the Morello false true. The next one is Homebrew Computer Cloud, that it was one of the original cloud for first-person computers. Now read out the newsletter that is discussed, that is available to discuss some of the issues surrounding this early computer, personal computers. And if you could build your own personal computer, what component will you purchase? What are the various categories of the component that you're going to create? That including the computer case, motherboard, CPU, hard disk, RAM, and DVDs. And how can you be sure that they are compatible with each other? and how does this compare to a similar computer purchased from a vendor such as a Dell or the PHP. So what are the various differences? What are the various parts of the computer, that is the CPU, hard disk, RAM, ROM, what are the various components by which we can access the data, or what are the various vehicles, the building blocks of a computer. And the next one is review the Wikipedia entry on the electronic page. That means what is the electronic page that is available in the Wikipedia, and find out at least scholarship topics that is available over the internet, over the electronic page, and prepare a slide. That means prepare a PPT. This is a task, that is prepare a PPT on the electronic page, how it is gathered, and why we are using the recycling of the electronic page. What is the use of that recycling? So prepare a slideshow that summarizes the issue and then recommend the possible solution based on your research. And as the technology increases, there have been advances in the technology since publication. And what technology have been developed recently, and that will add to this chapter. And seventh is what is the current state of the solid state driver. So what is the current statement? That means what is the current current area that is used for the solid state driver versus the hard disk. Do original research online where you can compare the price on a solid state driver and the hard disk. Be sure you know the differences in the price, capacity, and the speed. So be sure there's a difference between the price, capacity, and the speed between the solid state drivers versus the hard disk. And there are two types of the integrated computing that is available. There are the smart house and the self-driving car. And these are integrated computing from the automobile to the refrigerators to the airplanes. Computing technology is increasing their device, so that every device can do everything you can do. That is considered as science fiction, just a few years ago. According to the report, the PC shipment will continue to decline as the phone and the tablet shipment continue. That means the demand for the PC is going to decline. Why? What's the reason? Because the phone and the tablet shipment is going to or continue to increase. So instead of using the operating system of the desktop and the laptop, Apple chose the iOS, the operating system of the iPhone. And after the success of the iPad, the computer manufacturers also began to develop new tablets that utilizes the operating system that were designed for the mobile devices such as the Android. This is again the new case that is available for the iPads. And there is also a version of the existing system